This lesson deals with slope, or finding slopes of lines, given a line or given 2 points. Here we are given a line and we are asked to find the slope. First, we must understand that slope is the steepness of a line, and the letter that represents slope will always be m. Whenever you see m somewhere in an equation, you should know you're talking about the slope of the line. Now, when given a line, the easiest way to find the slope is what we call rise over run. You start at one point, you rise and run until you get to the next point. Now, we rise, which means we go up or down. You can also go down, and run means we can go left or we can go right. So to go from my first point, which is at my origin, I rise 2 units. I go up 2 units, which is a positive 2. Going down would be negative. Then I go to the right 3 units. Going to the right is positive. So with rise over run, I get a slope of 2 over 3. Slope is always going to be written as a fraction, never a mixed number. It can be an improper fraction. Remember that. The slope, or the m, of this middle one is 3 over 5. And now for the far right, I'm going to start at this dot right here, and I'm going to go down 1, which means I rise a negative 1. And then I run 4. I go to the right, a positive 4. So as my fraction, it will be negative 1 over 4. And again, all of your slopes are going to be fractions, not decimals. And we will do improper fractions. The slope of this line, when completely simplified, is 2. Another way we can find the slope when given just 2 points is what we call change in y over change in x. Change in y, or the equation for change in y, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that will always give you your slope. But we have to label these. You can see we have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate for both of these points given. But we have to distinguish between which one is the first point and which one is the second point. So we will go x1 and y1 will be down there, and for the second point, this will be x2, that will be y2. And if you use this equation here, as they did in the example, you'll see you'll take the y2, which is 3, subtract it from 0, negative 4 minus a 2 gives me my slope of 3 over a negative 6, which reduces to a negative 1/2. So using that formula again, I have an x and a y. It always goes in that order because x comes first, x and a y, and I needed to distinguish between those 2 points. So I'm going to call that x1, y1. I'm going to call this x2, y2. And then I am going to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus, and now x1 is a negative, so it's minus a negative number. That is very key. Don't get mixed up with your negatives, because minus a negative we know means plus a positive. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So your slope is 2/5. Now find the slope for the rest. So for b, as we have done the formula, we see we got negative 6 divided by 2, which reduces to negative 3. And then for c here, I'm running into an issue. I've got 4 minus 4, which is 0. Don't freak out there. But then we have 1 minus a negative 2. Here's where we need to watch that negative again. We get 0 over 3. If we divide 0 by 3, we get a slope of 0, which you can have a slope of 0. So this bottom example here, after doing the formula, you get a negative 1/6 as your slope. here, if we do rise over run, we see that we rise 2, but we run 0. With rise over run, 2 over 0. If you go ahead right now and plug 2 divided by 0 in your calculator, you will not get an answer. This is what we know as an undefined slope. The way I like to look at it, when you are skiing, if you are skiing on this slope, when you hit the bottom, you will be undefined. So with a vertical line, the slope is undefined. So here we have a positive slope because we go from left to right, and that's going uphill. To the right here is a negative slope because from left to right it is going downhill. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line. See how that's horizontal right there, going left to right? That is a slope of 0. There is 0 rise and lots of run. 0 divided by any number is 0. And again, a vertical line gives you an undefined slope.